Greetings, I'm Darkman and welcome back to Let's Play the Elder Scrolls Arena. So yeah, just casually exploring this dungeon. Very casually. I mean, there's quite a lot of openness and it can seem quite boring. But as I started hinting at in the last session, this was very much a product of the time. I mean, it's based on a lot of the great early D&D modules, and indeed the D&D game itself, in which, although the mechanics aren't the same, the mechanics might change. The playstyle was pretty much go round, search caverns, loot people. And in this era, there was very much the emphasis on site-based adventuring, where you would get the experience of wandering a haunted fallen keep or a haunted mine, you know, some sort of site basically, where it wasn't a simple case of moving from one combat to the next. Mazes and dungeons were quite popular because a big part of the game at that point was exploring these places and mapping them out. A lot of them were quite simple because of production techniques and stuff like that, and they would tend to be fairly grid based like this one. So they were kind of fairly easy to do. You might have the odd bits to fancy up dungeon, but most of them were literally wander around, find things, and try and find the treasure. I mean, at that point, treasure was often more important than actually fighting the monsters, to the point that you'd get much more experience for the treasure and getting it out of a dungeon than you would for actually killing the monsters in the dungeon. I mean, sure, you'd still fight dragons and stuff, but the whole point of fighting the dragon was basically to get to its loot. You wanted to go through and claim the hoards of everything, because that was literally what they were about. Gathering loads of treasure, and you get all this treasure out in various descriptions, but at the end you just wanted to know how much gold it was worth, because gold equals experience points. Experience points equals character levels up. And then the thing is, characters, especially low level characters, were extremely fragile. Not like, I mean, that's the one thing where video games like this vary very much from the likes of D&D, especially if you were only playing one person. I mean, the more D&D, you would play a party, so you'd be a bit more survivable, because at least you've got someone to back you up and rescue you if one of your characters goes down. Yeah, but quite fragile in the early versions. Bear in mind that the point this was out, I think they were kind of half the way through getting through to second edition AD&D. So there was also a big emphasis on plots as well, where rather than it was the story that was important. even if it was loose linking of the dungeons. How you got there between different bits between the story was pretty much up to the GM. So there'd been some sort of a little bit of an evolution in that regard. Treasure wasn't as important. This was harking back to the nostalgia. When you don't get experience for getting loot, literally become, well, use gold to try and get to survive and get more items and maybe pay for training and other bits and bobs like that. And to a lesser extent it's the same here. You want to get, a bit in the middle. You want gold to help you get be able to afford new equipment to repair your old favourites and stuff like that. You know? We'll go down here. Take a shortcut under the top. Okay. Right here. This will connect the bits up. There's that little bit there. Okay, we'll explore that little bit there. I mean, that's why this sort of dungeon might seem a bit tedious, because it's literally, it's harking back to the nostalgia of being able to go in and explore, and being able to do it in a first person sort of perspective like this was relatively new, especially when you combined it with the randomly generated nature of the dungeons. I mean, I say relatively new because, I mean, the main innovation of this was actually, you're literally walking through. It's not a grid-based kind of thing where it's like you move forward, you move left, you move right, and you're walking in squares. You can actually go pretty much, although it weren't 3D, you couldn't really look up and down. You could still like move in the two directions relatively freely. I mean, this was about the time of the great first-person shooters like Doom, so, and Wolfenstein 3D and that sort of game. You can sort of see how the technology was evolving on that regard. And compared to these days, this is admittedly a bit pants, but still a great playable game. The fact that you can get this dirt cheap. I think it's, yeah, I think you get this game free on GOG if you buy any one of the other Elder Scrolls games. So there's a spider in the wall. Spider in the wall. Spider nut in the wall. This one. So yeah, bit of waffling about the history there. I mean, It's so long ago it begins to blur in my head into nostalgia. So yeah, you can pick this up. I think the 10th anniversary, which was around about 2005, they actually gave this game away for free on the Bethesda website. So you see a temple, a structure nearly as ancient as the rock from which you wish you. And I've been paralysed, which is not good. And it's full of spiders. No, let me out, let me go. Well, I ain't going in there then. Not yet. We know that's there. Really? Did you follow me? No, that's my notification. I was paralysed. Right, so we've got to come get back up. Let's get up here. And then we'll go find that temple. That temple looked awesome. Don't know what the heck that was, but let's see what we got. Now we're doing relatively well. I'm going to say let's go for some more. We go 137. We're at level 11. So we will save that there. We'll save our level up. And let's see if we can rest here. Nope. Yeah, that was pretty good. Let's see, 49 gold pieces. No, these are squirks. 10 gold pieces. But now we can go back and. No, we don't know. We want that one. So let's go back and see this temple. Show me what's this temple about. So, we're not that far. I will, as always, try and explore this level completely before. We're going to use this poison. See, mark of open fire, stamina, healing. This fire is just cold. Resist poison and free action. Purification. Yeah, we're fine. See what the edges of this room is about. Well, there's your temple. That much is obvious. Right, no. Definitely something here, I can hear it breathing. Now that to me looks like a potential temple entrance. It's a temple, structure nearly as ancient yet. That's the temple in there. You guards. We're being hit. No. No, I died. Have you died our last hope of Joji? No, we didn't. Go away. So, we'll get back to that then. Take a little bit more care than we did last time. I mean, there's our temple. With whatever hell was in that. I mean, I feel a bit like Indiana Jones at the moment, except it's not snakes, it's spiders. Why did it have to be spiders? You know? Yeah. Why did it have to be spiders? At least we know we can go certain way around. Yeah, temple in the mines. That is interesting. I mean, there's a good thing there's no hard time limit, really, in this game. You can It does sort of make some of, oh yes, you kind of spend 10 years in the dungeon. What? Then I mean, some of the absurd things like that for D&D were quite interesting. I mean, you can notice it on things like Icewind Dale and Baldur's Gate, and that's where you just strict second edition, and it'd be like, okay, you want to rest until healed with your dwarven army with no actual magical healing, okay. You camp and you rest for, well, 12 years. Like, well, no, they'd measure it in days, and you just sit back up, and it would be, well, because there's no one interrupting you, and you've just pressed to rest until fully healed, you just, it's like, you don't starve, you've just spent 2 years sleeping in a dungeon for some strange reason. Okay. Maybe strict adherence to such things may not be the best approach. And we'll come up here and do this bit. That kind of joined up there. We'll take it step by step. The famous load and resave tactic, I think. I mean, a bit cheesy, but when the result of failure is basically death and game over, you know, the save and reload spam, it becomes your only viable option. I mean, perfectly viable, I guess, for old school games like this. Did we just come? I have not been here at all, so where are their dead bodies? I don't know, but I'll look and explore the dead bodies anyway. Give me my mate! I mean, I'm now definitely moving away from the temple, I think. But then they might just be going around things. Yeah, that was... looks like it's pretty much going around the temple there. She'll be going round the temple when she comes. She'll be going round the temple when she comes. She'll be going round the temple, going round the temple, going round the temple when she comes. She'll be going round the temple when she comes. Going round the temple when she comes. She'll be going round the temple when she comes. Going round the temple when she comes. Going round the temple, going round the temple, she's going round the temple when she comes. Ba-ba-bum. Yay! Kind of pointless really, but yeah. I mean, wood are useful because the usual approach of, yeah, exploring everything. Explore all the things. I mean, because there's vast swathes of this level alone. Well, I say vast swathes. Don't know, I think we've found the heart of it, I think. Right, the heart of this level. Let's put it up. I would be surprised if this is, I don't know, could be a single level, might be two levels, not entirely sure, to be honest. Just keep walking. Walking might be going actually a long way. Yeah, a little bit more to the south than I would like, I think. So that's cool. We can do it. What I will do is keep on that. Keep exploring until we get round to the back here. It turns out the spiders appear to be coming from the nooks and cracks. And sneaking up behind us, of course. But what we will do, that's relatively safe there. So I'm going to call it here. Okay, this has been Dalbane doing Let's Play The Elder Scrolls for Reader. Next time I think we'll head to try and see what's in this temple. And as always, if you like what you're seeing here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. And until next time, goodbye.